All right, so today I'm going to show you how to take the area right here between your house and your fence and turn it into a beautiful walkway with stepping stones and pea gravel, the easiest and the cheapest way. So last year I actually had grass back here in this area and I was trying to level it. So it said to use masonry sand with clay soils to help level them, but instead it created concrete and nothing has grown here. So we're going to use that same method to make our walkway. So I went ahead and I dug all that concrete out first. Okay, so here it is all cleaned up, and now it's time to start placing your stones where you want them. So the first thing you're going to do is just lay these stones out where you want them to be, and then I'll show you guys how to measure them to make them fit perfectly. So I went ahead and laid out my patterns the way that I wanted them to be, and then I took a tape measure and I measured from the tip of the last one to the tip of the first one. And then what I did was I subtracted the 16 inches that each of the pavers were from that, and then I divided that by 4 because I had 4 spots, and that gave me a total of 30. So 30 inches is going to be the perfect place to set these. All right, now I'm going to get my cool saw. I love this thing. You're just going to take this thing, go all the way around all 4 corners of this so that you know exactly where you need to dig out. Remove that stone out of there, and then you're just going to take a shovel, push it in there. And I know I've got these shoes on. They're like plastic shoes, but I didn't want to get dirt all in my tennis shoes. So these are the perfect shoes actually to wear when you're working in wet areas. And so you're just going to dig that out with the shovel. Get as much of it as you can with the shovel, and then you're going to go ahead and just dig the rest of that out by hand. Okay, so now I'm just taking a trowel and I'm just scraping it out of that so it'll fit in there perfectly. Okay, so now for this end piece, I dug a little trench for this so that it's equal to the grass level on the other side, and I'm just pulling my trowel across to get that really level line. Then we're just going to fill it with some sand right here. And then after you fill it with the sand, just take that trowel and just drag it across there to get that level. I'm just using the handle as a level right there. And then we're going to go ahead and start placing the stones in there. So just kind of push them in there, wiggle them a little bit. Just make sure everything is matching up and as level as you put those in there. All right, so now we're filling the main stepping stones here. All right, so you're just going to put some sand in there. Take your trowel. Just try and get it as even as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just going to wiggle that stone in there just so that it gets a good set right in there. You want to make sure it's level, and then we're going to take the sand and we're just going to dump it all out. You can see that I put the stones on top of the main stepping stone while I'm doing this, and just rake that. Just try and get it as, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just make sure you're getting that in everywhere that you see the dirt, because once you put water on this, it is going to turn into concrete, and that is going to be our base of this. So when you put your pea gravel on top of it, it's going to be a firm base. And don't worry if you have some rocks or something here and there that you see, because the pea gravel is going to cover that up whenever we're done. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm just taking those smaller stepping stones and I'm measuring them 6 inches away from the main stepping stone. So I've just got a tape measure and I'm just measuring from both sides and setting those into the sand. And you just kind of want to wiggle those a little bit into the sand. Okay, so I finished putting all the sand down, and now you're going to want to water this with like a shower spray, just really lightly over before you put the pea gravel down. Okay, so now you're going to take your pea gravel, go ahead and dump it out in little sections along both sides, and then you're going to take your rake and just start raking it across, and then you're going to have to get down and use your hands, and you're going to use your hands to get in those areas, kind of brush it off the stepping stones and get it right into those areas where, you know, the rake can't get into it. And then go ahead and just take that rake and keep on raking it all the way across. And again, you're going to have to get down and just use your hands to get into those areas that just the rake won't get into. And then just go ahead and clean those stones off with all that pea gravel, and it will look beautiful. All right, so here it is. It's all done. I'm so excited. I worked so hard. The right side, I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to continue the pea gravel or whether I should maybe do like some little plants or something right there. I would love your input if you have any ideas on what you think would look best there. Now, I didn't mention this earlier, but with these clay soils, make sure that you wet this down before you start digging, and it'll make it so much easier for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips and tools from Stacy DIY.